For possibly the first time all week, I'm filming a video before 9 o'clock at night, which is such a nice feeling. Also, I'm filming in my bed for multiple reasons. One being that the lighting is of course shit in other parts of the room, but also I had to walk home in the rain, so I'm really cold. So I'm currently wearing my pyjamas over a top with two jumpers over the top of that and my blanket over the top of that because I'm freezing. So I thought I'd stay in bed to help warm myself up. We had our supervision today. This isn't going to go up until Friday, and neither is the video before. I'm sorry. Just forgot to do it today. I'm an idiot, sorry. Yeah, so today we had our supervision for staging the text. For context, basically, we have to stage a text, and next week we're kind of outlining what we're doing to the rest of the year and to a board of examiners, and it makes up 25% of our marks. So we have a supervisor come in to kind of make sure that we're going in the right direction and that we don't completely shoot ourselves in the foot or anything. And so our supervisor came in today and completely reworked our entire concept. So we're starting from scratch essentially, which is terrifying, but I'm glad she did it because at least now we know we're going on along the right lines. But we ended up talking a lot about fear. One girl in my group was saying that she was concerned about the concept as a whole, and so our supervisor started talking to us about fear and brought up some really interesting things which I thought would be worth discussing. In Hebrew there are names for two types of fear. One that's kind of like instinctual, primal, like running away from predators kind of fear, and the other is kind of fear you get in the presence of great awe and beauty and power and majesty. So, you know, like looking at a waterfall being like, fuck, that waterfall could kill me, but it's really beautiful. I think my dad puts it really succinctly. He always says to me that fear is just excitement on a bad day, and I really like that, so I brought that up. Yeah, I think that's just a really interesting thing to think about. I use fear in different ways. One of my favourite lyrics is a lyric from Kill Your Heroes by AWOL Nation, which is never let your fear decide your fate. And I'm very much a strong believer of that, in that there will be like a little voice in the back of your head telling you not to go for something and telling you not to walk into a scary situation. I try as often as I can to just ignore that voice and to do something regardless, because if not I will regret it. I think it's really interesting, to be honest, because there's a couple of different kinds of fear in my brain. There's one that's more like anxiety and there's one that's more like fear, and they push me in different directions. So I've got fear in what I refer to as the mammoth brain because of a really good article called Taming the Mammoth, which I'll put a link in the description for, which is basically about how all of those urges to not be weird and to fit in and stuff come from this primal urge to be part of the community, because if you're not part of the community then you're probably going to starve to death. That way of thinking is not applicable to the 21st century. That way of thinking just doesn't get you anywhere in life in this day and age. So that's one kind of fear I experience. One fear where I'm afraid to speak out and to be a bit odd. But in fairness, I have that one pretty much constantly in check, I'd say. Out of all the people in the world, I'm pretty good at taming my mammoth, because I've never been afraid of being weird. Well, I've had moments of being afraid of being weird, but most people come to a gradual journey of self-acceptance. I never had that, because I never had a period where I desperately wanted to fit in, because I was always surrounded by people who told me that being weird is good. I developed that ethos really early on, and it's just stuck with me. So I'm a bit kooky, a bit quirky, but I just do my thing, and occasionally feel like an idiot for saying or doing something that's a bit too wacky, but mostly just deal with it. The other kind of fear, which I think is more like anxiety, is this kind of, it's a bit like imposter syndrome. It's this sense that I don't have the natural talent to be here, to be where I am, so that I need to work twice as hard as everyone else around me. And that's what like really drives me to work hard, and why I really identify myself as a Hufflepuff, because in my low moments I believe that is the only thing that I've got going for me, my stupidly hard work ethic, and that's what drives me, is that I have moments of fear that I'm just not talented at the things I love doing, and in order to counteract that I need to work really fucking hard just to get to the same level or somewhere near the same level as the naturally talented people around me. And I know that's partially all in my head. That kind of fear really drives me forwards, and I'm not sure if it's a positive fear or not, but I think that if I didn't have that fear, I'd definitely be much more chilled, and I don't think I'd succeed if I was much more chilled. And also I think if I didn't have that fear, it would be replaced with a fear of failure and a fear that I'll never be good enough, a fear that would stop me from achieving my dreams. Whereas I don't have the little voice that tells me I should just give up now, but I do have the little voice in my head that's like, no, you've got to stay up. You've got to stay up and work, because if you don't, you're going to fall behind, and you are not capable of what you like, of achieving in the career that you want to be in, unless you put in a fuck ton of work. That is what motivates me, and that is what keeps me up at night as well. But I'd rather have that than you should just give up now. So yeah, this was a bit incoherent. It seemed really like concise and like intelligent in my head, but I think because I'm a bit tired, it's a little bit rambling all over the place. I hope you enjoyed it. Regardless, tell me about, you know, your thoughts on fear and what kind of fears you have, and I'm talking like, you know, cognitive fears, not like fear of spiders or whatever. But yeah, just like let me know and we can have a chat about it, because I think it was a really interesting discussion, because our supervisor pointed out that everybody has that voice in the back of their head saying they're not good enough. Even Beyonce has that voice. If Beyonce has that voice, you're allowed to have that voice, and it's about how you deal with it that matters. What she said was really interesting, because what she did was she actually visualised her voice and acknowledged it, but then chose to ignore what it said anyway. So like the voice that told her that she wasn't good enough, instead of like either trying to shut it out or just succumbing to it, she'd be like, thanks for trying to take care of me, thanks for trying to keep me safe, I'm not going to listen to you though, and just carry on. And I'm gonna try and do that with like all of the niggling things in the back of my mind, because I'm a big believer in doing what scares you, and a lot of things scare me, so I'm gonna do a lot of them. So with that, I will see you tomorrow. Happy VEDO, guys!